Hashem, and all the Torah study tonight it was dedicated in memory of Elaine Troy, Chana Bas Aryeh V'Zahava, and we're studying in her memory tonight, Baruch Hashem. And also tomorrow, tonight is Zayin Adar. Yeah, I have it. Oh, you want me to give it back to you? Otherwise, how am I going to remember? Yeah, I have it. Okay, so these are the garments. Ve'ela begadim asher yasu. These are the garments that they shall make. Hoshen ve'ifod.
There's no
What?
tachnon tomorrow.
There's no tachanun. There's no tachanun tomorrow. Tonight, yeah. Tonight we could check. Tonight we could check. I'll get the luach to check whether or not there's tachanun because Moshe Rabbeinu's yortzeit is tomorrow. Tonight.
Yeah.
7 others. Not only his yortzeit, it's also his birthday. We'll check the luach, see what the luach says. This is a big holiday for the Ezra's Torah. They use the Ezra's Torah luach. They're big on it. Okay, so let's get started here. So these are the garments. These are the garments that you shall make: a choshen, which is the breastplate. We'll see Rashi is going to describe them. The ephod, the me'il, the ketona tashbates, the mitznefet, the turban, the avnate, the belt. We learned about the avnate in today's daf. The avnate was made of wool and linen, shatnez. But also big day kodesh aron achicha. They'll become holy garments for Aaron, your brother, ulavanav, and for his children, lechanoi, to serve me. What do you think of the babka? You liked it? It's from Reisman's. It's the ultimate babka. So now this Rashi is so geschmack. Rashi says first, he says choshen is an ornament worn opposite heart. The choshen is the breastplate worn right on your chest. But now the ephod. What's the ephod? Rashi. This is one of my favorite Rashis. Rashi says lo shamati v'lo matzati bebraisa perish tavnisa. He says I have never heard or found in the Brisa, meaning a Tanaitic source, an explanation of its design. I'm there. Hello, Noam, how are you doing? Of course he is. He says, I've never seen or found a Brisa, an explanation of its design. V'libi Omerli, for chapter 28, verse 4. Well, he's going to tell you how he knows. Libi Omerli, and my heart tells me, Shu Chagor Lo Me'achorav, that Rashi says, in my imagination, this is what I imagine it to be. That it's basically like a something that's belted from behind, Rachbo Kirochav Gavish, and it's the width of the man's back, Kemin Sinar Shekorin Portshint Belaz. Something that was called in Old French Portshint, or in modern French, it's called a belt, the word for belt. But the thing is, there's other versions of this teaching of Rashi where he says Shechogrot Hasarot Kisherochvot Al Hasusim, that these noblewomen wear when they ride their horses. So the story is told about Rashi that he's walking one time with his students, and he looked and he saw a noblewoman riding a horse, and he stopped and stared at her. And the student said, Rebbe, what's going on? This is Rashi. This is not like some average Jew scrolling on the internet. What are you looking at this woman on a horse for? And Rashi said, now I know what the ephod is. Because he wasn't looking at the woman, he was looking at the apron she was wearing, or the robe she was wearing, the riding robe, and he said, this is the apron, this is the ephod. So Rashi sees something in like everyday life, and immediately he knows what it is. Some say, like, how would Rashi know? On what basis does he say that this was the apron? There's no evidence for it other than uh other than what Rashi saw in medieval times. So there's a lot of other different interpretations of what the ephod was, and Rashi's is just one of them. But Rashi says it looks like the riding garment that a noblewoman would wear. Do you know when your match is going to be yet? You don't know?
It's going to be an overweight sandwich.
You mean the state championship?
It's like a weekend.
He's a champion. Aiden is a champion. He's not like a bench warmer like me. If he wins the state championship, I'll challenge him to a wrestling match. We'll set it up right here in the yeshiva. Can we put no? We'll set up a mat right here. It'll be me versus you. But I'm not wearing one of those uniforms like those tights. Yeah, no, I'm not wearing those tights. I can take you. I'm a bigger weight class than you.
I'll take guys that are 190.
No, definitely not. But I think I could beat you. No, I think I can beat you. What do you have to do? You have to hold you down for 3 seconds, right? Yeah.
I'll be surprised if you get my leg.
Wait a minute, if I touch your leg?
If you're able to take my...
Don't you start, one person's on the knees.
10 seconds, Rabbi. 10 seconds, not 3.
Wait, do I have to hold you down for 3 seconds or 10 seconds?
3.
3 seconds. It's wrestling. Right? No, you're going down. Purim night. We're going to do a wrestling match here. Right here. We're set it up right here. This is not too hard for you.
It's hard for me.
Thank you, Noam. We're doing a wrestling match here, but I'm not wearing Will's uniform. What do you wear? Just like pants and a white shirt. You have to wear this. You have to wear what I'm wearing. Okay, fine. This a week from tonight, Monday night, Purim night.
I think I'll be here.
Yeah, we'll do it after the Megillah. I'm gonna wrestle you. I'm wrestling. No, the fur coat could get ruined when I push him down. All right, we're doing this. But can you hurt my head? Actually, that's the only thing I'm worried about. No, my wife is not knowing about this. She's not finding out. Okay, we go on. No wives involved. So she doesn't watch our YouTube videos, so she doesn't. So okay, so this was this, and he cites other places in the Bible where the word ephod appears, as it says, and David was wearing a linen ephod, but that doesn't prove anything. And so all that teaches us, says Rashi, is that it was a belt. And you don't want to say it was just a belt, because it says he placed upon it the ephod, and afterwards it says, and then he tied him with the cheshiv of the ephod. So the cheshiv is the belt, and the ephod is the name of it. And you can't say that it's just the 2 shoulder straps, because it says the straps of the ephod. So we know that the ephod, Rashi says, has straps and a belt. And so therefore I say it's because of the apron at the bottom that's called the ephod. And then Rashi says, furthermore, I say that it's a type of garment because Jonas and Ben Uziel translated, and David was belted with a linen ephod. And he translated it as a kardutin, which is a type of robe. Anyway, so that's Rashi's speculation. I think this might be the only time Rashi says, Libi Omerli, my heart. I mean, you could do a search, Rabbi Yosef, where Rashi says, Libi Omerli, my heart tells me that this is what it is, and there's no source. He has no source telling him that. Well, Rabbi Steinsaltz probably, when he describes the ephod in his translation of the Chumash, he probably has a few other different theories. There's many different theories because there's nothing written about it. Why does the Talmud not tell us, or the Torah? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't specific. Maybe it was open to different interpretations. You had a question, Jeff? Yeah, because there's a lot of different possibilities about what it was. The art scroll is Rashi, but there's many different versions, and maybe the ephod could be open to different possibilities. Maybe it was just an apron or a robe. Okay, so the next Rashi says, what's the me'il? The me'il is a type of robe, and the kutonet is also a type of robe, but the kutonet was next to the skin, and the me'il was the upper robe, and it was checkered texture. So okay, and then mitznefet is a turban. So this is a dome-like hat. This also is not mentioned anywhere. Rashi says it's a dome-like hat, which is called a coip, a cop, like a kippah. Maybe a kippah is a French word. You know what? So in this strymel, I'm getting the IDF colored strymel. I'm getting that, Aiden. And the guy is making a dome, and he only speaks Yiddish. You know what he calls the dome of the strymel? He calls that the kaiverochel, the kever the Rachel's tomb, because like the graves, they have a tomb over them. Like in Rachel's tomb, there's a tomb, so that's what he calls it. Oh yeah, I don't know. I said something extinct, please. That's what I said. Okay, and then an avnate. This is belted over the kutones, and okay, these are the holy garments. Beautiful. Okay, Noam, you read pasuk. Hey, vehem. You have the place. Excellent. And they shall take the gold and the techelet and the argaman and the toat shani and the sheish. Now we see from here that it was shatnes because the techelet is wool, and the sheish is linen, and you're normally not allowed to wear wool and linen, but the Kohen Gadol wore it. Now the techelet we discussed at length in the Daf Yomi today. The techelet, it was something that the last time we had it mentioned, we knew about it was in the Talmud, probably in the early 6th century or 5th century from Rabbi Chai. But nowadays, people think that we think that we've rediscovered it. I'm sorry? No. That's why when you get tzitzis, when you order a new pair of tzitzis, you should be sure to get the right techelos on it, because there's two different versions of techelos floating around. There's the Rajina Rebbe's tzitzis, which was basically coming from like a squid, which they add chemicals to it to turn it boil. Or there's during the heating process, or there's the one that comes from a snail, which is the like Zionist version. And that's the one that Rav Shachter and the other rabbis at YU are in support of, and Rabbi Tendler of blessed memory. So anyway,
our cousin in Jersey has the Herzog. I asked him.
I'm sorry, which is the correct one?
I mean, I would never say the Regina Rebbe has been wrong, but most people don't accept the Regina Rebbe. That they accept the one that they sell that. Is
that the snail one or the squid?
The snail one is the correct one. It's the correct one. Yeah. It's the chilazon. It was a snail, which was hard to get because it was deep in the ocean, and it only came up every 70 years. So nowadays we have divers who can get it. It's no problem, but it's expensive. It is expensive.
And they actually found in the archaeological digs near Tyre in Lebanon like a gigantic pile of them. So, and punctured exactly in the place where the blood is stored.
That just proves that they use them for the blue dye. It doesn't prove that was the tcheles. because there was no question that the budai was very expensive back then. Okay. So the Haim Yaku, so they shall take this. Who shall take it? The people who are in charge of the fabrics, they should receive these donations to make the garments. Okay, Aiden, you read the next pasuk.
ועשו את האפוד זהב, תכלת, וארגמן, תולו, שני ושש מסוזר, משזר, מעשה, חושב.
Right, so they shall make the ephod out of gold and tchelet and be'argaman, purple, and crimson thread and linen twisted. So they took all these threads. What Rashi says is these, and this is based upon the Gemara in Yoma, they took these 5 varieties of materials and they twisted them together to make one thread. And how would they make thread out of gold? There, you ever hear of gold threads? Yeah, you beat the thread, you beat the gold down into very thin pieces, and then you cut strands and you twist them. So you had a thread of gold, Rashi says, with 6 threads of turquoise, a thread of gold with 6 threads of purple wool, and likewise with scarlet wool, and then likewise with the linen. So therefore, the thread of all varieties was 6-fold, and there was a thread of gold with each one of them. And afterwards he would twist all 4 of them together as one, so that the thread was 28-fold. Do you understand this? There are 4 different types of material here. There's scarlet wool, there's purple, there's the turquoise, and then there is there was turquoise, gold, there was turquoise, scarlet, purple, and linen. And so what he would do is each one would be a 6-ply thread, because we want a very geschmack thread, not a thin thread. And each one had a gold thread twisted in it. And then all of them were twisted together to make, so each thread that made up the garment was 28 threads together. So it was a very thick piece of thread. Okay, so now Rashi says, going back a little, that they make the ephod. Rashi says as follows. He says, if I were to explain the way that they made the ephod and the choshen according to the verses, it would be too difficult to understand, and the reader would make a mistake in understanding them.
Sounds very expensive too.
What?
Sounds very expensive as well.
No, Rashi's saying if I was going to explain it, it would be too hard.
No, I got that, yeah.
Oh, you mean these? Yeah, they were very expensive because the Kohen Gadol was dressed for success. I mean, he represented the Jewish people. They weren't going to dress him like a schlump. They needed to dress him like a star.
Mm-hmm.
Needed to dress him like a star. That's why all the Hasidic Rebbes dress, except for the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe is the only one who didn't dress with the fancy hat. You know why?
Why?
Do you know why the Rebbe didn't dress with the fancy hat? Does anybody know why?
People.
Yes, of course, he was a man of the people, but he was also a melech. Like the Chabad never touched him, and when he became the Rebbe, he didn't go to meet donors. They came to meet him. He never went to meet Hasidim. Like he left, like you could count the number of times he left. He wanted to go to the OL. He would go a couple of times. He went to the doctor, but the reason why he didn't wear a fancy hat. This is what happened when his father-in-law died. The 6th Rebbe. There were 2 Hasidim. There were 2 sons-in-law, him and Gerari, and it became clear soon enough that the Rebbe was outshone everyone, and that he was supposed to be the Rebbe. But the mother-in-law, Gerari, was married to the older daughter, and the mother-in-law wanted Gerari to be the next Rebbe. and the mother-in-law had the six Rebbe's spodok. So she didn't give it to the Rebbe. I mean, it became a very sad story, a very big fight. Not directly over this, indirectly over this. It became a very sad story. But the Rebbe's response was, I don't need this spodok. So you don't give me this spodok, so I won't have it. So he just wore a regular hat. And that's why all the Lubavitch Hasidim just wear regular hats. Nobody knew that story?
No.
We could put it in AI.
So then who are the ones that like the Saltmore are the ones that
Now, all the other Hasidim wear fancy hats, like the Streimels. Because their Rebbe's wore Streimels, so they wear the fancy hats. That's how they developed it. But it's the Chabad is the only Hasidim, they just wear a regular black hat because the Rebbe didn't get the Spodok. You could look that up on Aryeh. You could verify me on ChatGPT. How come the Chabad don't wear Streimels? You'll see what they say. They copy the Rebbe. I saw that book I saw that anecdote in the book by Freeman and Heilman on the Rebbe. Okay, so basically it says the ephod. Oh, Shia, can you do me a favor, please? Can you go upstairs to where my shtender is and get the luach? Because we want to see if we say tachnun at mincha today. I want to see if we say it. We know we don't say it tomorrow. But the ephod is made like the apron worn by women who ride horses. And he would tie it from behind, opposite the heart. So that means it was tied on the upper part of the back, below his elbows. Okay. Opposite his heart, but below his elbows. Well, that's not on the upper part of the back. So it's opposite where the heart is, but below. Okay, so not on the upper part of the back, in the middle of the back.
Crisscross.
Yeah. And then its width was like the width of a man's back and more, and it would reach down to his heel. So it went all the way down. And its belt was connected at the top along its width by weaver's work and extended to either part. And the shoulder straps were attached to the cheshev, one on the right and one on the left, set apart from each other by the size of the Kohen Gadol's shoulder. And when he would, okay, so basically, just look at the picture and you'll see it. Yeah, you just look at the picture. Also, he doesn't describe here the Urim V'Tumim, or the Choshen, the breastplate has the Urim V'Tumim, which is not, Rashi doesn't describe it here what it is. So it's not 100% clear also from the text what the Urim V'Tumim are. Urim V'Tumim was presumably an oracle that they asked in order to determine what to do. That's a dispute amongst the commentaries, whether it was a sheet of paper that with God's name that was stuck behind it, or maybe it was just the stones themselves were lighting up. And then on the shoulder straps, itself, what does it say, Shia? Doesn't say anything? What? Kalj. Okay. Well, it doesn't say that means that it's tachman. Okay. So the two shoulder straps, the apron is below, and then the interest okay, and there okay. Let's read the next pasuk. So basically Rashi's saying you can't really read it verse by verse because with the Rashis it'll be too hard to make sense of it. So let's go to the skip a little bit of the ephod now and go to pasuk Yud Gimel, which is those are the settings for the choshen. But let's look at pasuk Tesvav. Okay, Aryeh, can you read pasuk Tesvav, please? Sita choshen mishpat. So this is a breastplate that was worn. So this is a breastplate that he wore over himself. You see that pasuk Tesvav, Aryeh?
Vasiso.
Yeah, exactly.
Vasiso Foshen Shbar Maase Foshe Kemaase Efo Ta Senu Sahar Tehawe
The Torah Chani. Exactly. So the Choshen Mishpat was, hello Ezra, how you doing? Stark. So the Choshen Mishpat was made embroidered. So basically, it's this embroidered material in the same threads as before, and on it were settings in which stones were placed into it, and the stones would be illuminated. Now, what's the purpose of why was this called the breastplate of judgment? Rashi says, Shemech, and he already quotes the Gemara we did in Zevachim, it atones for miscarriages of justice, like if the court gives a bad ruling. By the way, this is an idea I had. Tell me what you think of this. We have some esteemed lawyers with us, Jeffrey and Dan, but I also have this theory. We should get rid of judges and use AI. Just submit the papers to AI. Get a better ruling, a more objective ruling. Bill's here also. I didn't see him. He's also a esteemed lawyer.
Under the American Arbitration Association, you can choose an AI judge.
You can?
You can choose an AI judge
For arbitration.
for arbitration.
Let's be clear.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like a type of.
Not right yet, but I mean, there's little doubt that AI would lead to more consistency. But
Objectivity.
objectivity would lead to more wisdom, unclear.
Well, in every single situation where you say, I don't know, but the thing is, it'll be more consistency. But the thing that I've noticed when I've used AI is every time you say, the human will do, no, the AI always has more wisdom than the humans because the human, we have a bias to think we do it better. And maybe they're going to get better with the AI, but the judges, are, they you could just get a judge who just doesn't know the law, doesn't care. And at the very least, they should start having AI review the judges and give them scores. If baseball can have AI, baseball has AI. Baseball has it for balls and strikes.
But on Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi, we say Avinu Malkeinu, which is that we actually
One
claim.
at a time. I'm sorry, Jeff was waiting.
The bill's already, he's come in the original.
The nuclear scientists are now debating this, whether whether it can be turned over to AI, between the machines, or whether there should be an intermediary. And they're lobbying very strongly, there has to be a human intermediary between them. Because if you turn
Because humans are so good. Is that what you're saying? That humans are so
No, it's because we don't understand what AI would actually do.
Exactly.
It's beyond our ability to conceive of, and it could just do stuff.
But okay, let me just say this. When it comes to judges, there is such a concern that the judges are becoming politicized and they're giving decisions based upon who appointed them and what they think that that erodes society. So if you had an objective computer making those decisions, that
Are you okay with turning over the nuclear decisions?
a nuclear decision is not. It's supposed to be political.
You're
The
actually
judges is not supposed to be political.
you're presuming, by the way, that large language models are unbiased and objective, and here's why they're not. Because to the extent, this is why there's so much anti-Semitism, because if they're collecting everything that's out there,
Right.
then a lot of what's out there is actually biased and
So we have to get better. You have to make it a better model, but eventually, maybe like 5 years, 10 years.
Basically, what judges could do is use AI in their decision making.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. They should be doing that
I
already.
think they
Put the two papers in and see whose is better.
Yeah.
We should be doing that already. There should be like an AI. Well, you're saying it's being done with arbitration. So and then you won't need this Choshen Mishpat. You won't need the Choshen Mishpat in the third temple because we'll have AI making the decisions. I can tell you that when somebody asks me a halacha question, I look at AI and it's always a better answer than I would come up with on my own. All right, we'll stop here.
Rabbi, I was just going to say that
Yeah, go.
we say Avinu Malkeinu because we want Hashem to be biased. We want
God, that's God, but it's not a judge.
but he is a judge. We're saying, you know,
Yeah,
we
yeah. If
want
you
him
have
to
a
treat us
perfect judge,
as
for
a
sure.
father. So
Go with God over AI also. Yes, correct. I would go with God over AI. Yes, sometimes you judge to ignore the law when you're against the law. I agree with that too. Like if you're not